The way professional value is created is beginning to change. In the first episode, I explained why I built the Corporate Finance Toolkit, discussing about the blank slide problem. This is episode 2. Context is the new professional advantage. In this episode, I want to explain why the idea behind the toolkit matters beyond PowerPoint. So while introducing ourselves professionally, we have said things like, I have 8 years of experience, I've worked on 30 plus transactions, I've built 25 plus financial models, I've closed 15 plus deals. So these things still matter, but two important changes are happening around them. First, highly capable AI models are becoming available to almost everyone. The model alone will not remain the differentiator. What will increasingly differentiate the work is the professional context connected to that model. Second, parts of our professional experience can now be structured, encoded, and connected to AI agents. This is how the game has changed. So when I say context layer, I do not simply mean a longer prompt or a folder containing hundreds of documents. A professional context layer should tell the model what information matters and how that information should be interpreted. It should tell the model what decision comes next, which standards to apply, and where it must stop for human judgment. Inside most organizations, this knowledge already exists, but it is fragmented. Some of it is in templates, some is in review comments and procedures, but a large part remains inside the brains of experienced professionals. Now, this matters first to students, MBA candidates, analysts, and future corporate finance professionals. If you are entering this profession today, your role will not look exactly like the role people entered 10 years ago. You still need financial knowledge, judgment, and attention to detail, but you will increasingly apply those capabilities alongside agents. This also matters to professionals inside advisory firms, investment teams, corporate development functions, and larger organizations. For them, the question is, how can institutional knowledge be connected to AI without losing professional control? So I want to make a disclaimer. This video series is not a foundational corporate finance course. I will not teach the basics of accounting, valuation, Excel, financial modeling, or PowerPoint. There are many courses out there for those subjects. This is also not a collection of prompts or a claim that one master prompt can autonomously create a corporate finance transaction document. Instead, we will explore how AI can be used within the process of creating institutional grade corporate finance documents. Later in the series, we will use an energy sector company to attempt to create a complete 10-pager corporate finance document. We will show what works, what fails, and where professional judgment remains necessary. Now, this brings me to the Corporate Finance Toolkit. This toolkit contains 148 PowerPoint slides connected to an Excel databook. The slides cover the major sections of an institutional transaction document, including executive summary and investment highlights, company overview, history and deal parameter, management and organizational overview, market context and industry dynamics, products, technology and platform capabilities, operating model and value chain, commercial strategy and client base, competitive positioning, historical financial performance, balance sheet, net debt, net working capital and cash flow, growth and expansion strategy, financial projections and forecasts, cash flow, capex and funding plan, project economics, returns and sensitivities, valuation multiples and preceding transactions. And the toolkit is all integrated with an Excel databook that is broken down, covering the same sections where analysis from Excel is exported into PowerPoint. I populated them using 4 fictitious companies, allowing me to build realistic examples. But there is a problem following a static template-based approach. When you're working on transactions, every real transaction is different. The next company that you'll work will have different products, will have a different customer base, will operate in a different geography, will have different set of financials. A template shows you the visible answer, but it does not necessarily explain the back-end reasoning that created that answer. So to make the Corporate Finance Toolkit scalable, I needed to connect the templates to the professional context behind them. This is the complete product folder connected to your LLM. It contains the files, the instructions, the reference assets, which which are the PowerPoint templates and the Excel databook, and the practitioner intelligence available to the project. So the markdown files contain slide logic, transaction knowledge, narrative rules, chart intelligence, data instructions, and design standards. So once this context layer is connected to your LLM like ChatGPT or Claude, then you get quite a lot of powers. It's not like you only get access to templates, you get access to a full instruction base and list of what your AI agents should follow, especially while executing tasks. So now let's test out a use case. So this is the entire folder structure which is part of the context layer of the Corporate Finance Toolkit, and I'll be giving access of this folder to ChatGPT. So now here, if you see within products and within deals, we have another fictitious company by the name of Helivar Energy, and this is the use case that we'll try out now. So within this, we have something known as client input, and within this we have a background about the company, high level context of what the company does, its offerings, finance structure, company profile, and all the initial bit of brief or context that we know about the company is captured in this document. So let's test it out. First, let's go to ChatGPT and create a new project where we give the project access to this folder. Let's call it Testing Corporate Finance Toolkit, and let's give it access to this folder. Perfect. The project is created. Now let's test the use case. Now let's start dictating the prompt. Hey, I've connected you to the Corporate Finance Toolkit context layer. Navigate through the user manual. I want to create one investment grade company overview slide. Recommend the content that should appear on the slide using the background note of the company. Include the company description, offerings, location, evolution, financial KPIs, operational KPIs, commercial traction, etc. Then identify the 3 most suitable slides from the toolkit that could be used as design reference. Show me the actual slide image snippets directly in the conversation and explain briefly why each slide could work. So our prompt is here, and just double checking whether the context layer is connected, and let ChatGPT cook. So as you can see, it's already started mapping the available manuals, decks. It says that it's already found Helivar source file to recommend some sort of action plan. So as you can see, it ran a few commands and already figured out 3 images or 3 slides from the toolkit. And if we were to manually shortlist which slide to choose for this particular context, it would consume more time. But that's the beauty of connecting context layers, in fact specialized context layers, with an LLM. So as you can see, ChatGPT worked for around 3 minutes 25 seconds. Within that time frame, it was already able to create the content for the slide. We already have a recommended action title. We have the company description based on obviously the brief that was there on the Word document, but we have quite a lot of content to work with in terms of what to put across on the slide. One thing it wasn't able to do was to showcase the slides that it would select as strong design references. It has selected them as hyperlinks, but I would want it to actually show those slide references on the chat itself. So that would be my subsequent prompt. Instead of showing them on the chat as links, I would want you to exactly show the design references as images, so that I could give you my recommendation in terms of which image to go ahead. Please show the images on the chat. So as you can see, after my last prompt, I can actually see the slide references that it chose from my toolkit. So I can see it chose this slide as a reference, then it also chose this one as a reference, and then slide number 11. So the good thing is, if I were to actually go back to the PowerPoint toolkit, I could map them by looking at the slide number, because I have the reference slide number here. Out of these 3 slides, let's say that I would want to go ahead with option 1, which is slide 6. So my next prompt would be, all right, I like the 3 shortlisted slides. Let's go ahead with slide 6 as the reference, and put across the content that we finalized on the previous prompt. So as you can see, GPT is back with its output. Let's try to see what it did. So it took one of my slides and it was able to create another synthetic slide or a visual target and make it bespoke or customizable to the briefs that I gave. Why does this entire output matter? Because if you've worked as a corporate finance consultant in your life, you would know that it takes so much time to visualize slides to come up to the end output. But here, if you have a specialized context window or a context layer attached to your LLM, that visualization, the speed at which you can do has increased multifold. So in this example, the selected slide was reused directly from the toolkit. The approved Helivar content was therefore applied to that existing template. The result was a completed Helivar target slide, a new visual concept generated from scratch. This did not exist in the original toolkit in this form. Now that we have a visual target, we can easily create an editable slide with the same look and feel, and that is the real value add. Corporate finance professionals spend so many hours visualizing slides. Imagine using this context layer in documents that include hundreds of slides, like an information memorandum. And this doesn't stop here. You could connect the financial model of a transaction and generate slides from the model and integrate that to your investment memorandum. I remember before the AI boom, I used to spend hours designing my slides, brainstorming the look and feel of the final output, and all this took quite a lot of hours. Now, all that time can be saved to do more relevant work. This is how the game has changed for corporate finance professionals. Models are becoming widely available, but the professional context connected to them can remain proprietary. Future finance professionals will increasingly be judged by how effectively they direct, review, and improve work produced through agents. In the next episode, I will open the Corporate Finance Toolkit and show you how the context layer and the architecture underneath this workflow are structured. And remember, LLMs may become available to everyone, but your method of running the LLM will be your secret sauce.